Good morning. I'm Christy and this is Living La Vida Moto. If you're interested in full-time travel, this is the place for you to be. We talk about all things full-time travel and especially with children. So today I wanted to talk about handling money while you're traveling. So we travel full-time and managing our money and we travel full-time, so managing our money is really important, and I have some different ways of doing things than maybe you would at home. So one of the things that I have, I'm going to cover the numbers and stuff, but I have two different banks that I deal with. This is one of them is my main bank, and then the other one is just kind of a backup one. So all of my money, like from PayPal and from all of my online businesses and stuff, go into one account, and then I switch it to the other. I can send myself money to the other account. So when I go out, I usually have I have these little change purses, and they're numbered. You can see there's a 2. They're numbered 1 through 4. They're different. And so what I do is first of all, I have a budget and I figure out what I need for my budget. So I pay what I can online, like my credit card bill and things like that. I pay what I can online, and then I take the rest out in cash. So because I'm with a Canadian bank and we don't really have any banks that offer really good overseas deals. So like I know that somebody said, I think it was Chase Bank in the States offers like no fees when you're traveling and stuff like that. For me, I usually get dinged with about $8 per transaction, and depending on the country you're in, sometimes there's a limit to how much you can take out per day, which isn't a lot because their currency is less than ours. So what I tend to do is my name is printed on my card. And so what I do is I go in with my card and my passport, and I present them, and I use it like a Visa card because it is a Visa debit. So I'll use it like a Visa card, and I'll take out as much as I can if they'll allow me to do that. Some places won't. If they won't allow me to do that, then I have a couple of apps that I use. One's Remitly, another one is Western Union. So I'll Western Union myself money, or I'll send myself money through Remitly, and then I just go pick up cash. And then I have cash for the month, like for putting time on my phone, for buying little treats, going to activities, things like that. And then, so what I do is I split it up into weeks, and I put each week's money into one of these one of these change purses. And then as that change purse, like let's say it's week 1, once I'm done this one, then I just tuck it away in a drawer and I move on to week 2. And these are kept in a small lockbox that I have, that I carry with us. And so our passports are in there. These are in there. Anything else is in there. And so then I have 2 bank cards from 2 different banks. And so one is my main bank account, and one is my secondary. And so all the money that I make online or however comes into the one account, and then I will transfer money to the other account. And so I only will put, I'll put a small amount on, let's say, this card, and like transfer it from one account to the other, because I can do that online. And then I'll just carry this and my cash for the week in here. So like if I needed a card, I had access to it. And usually there's only like maybe $100 on this. And I don't use it except for emergencies. But then if this card gets stolen, or this little thing gets stolen, I'm not totally out. While we were in Mexico, I only had one card, and it got eaten by the machine, and we were just about to hop on a bus to like a new location. And so I had to call the bank, and they had to send me a new card. And it was going to take 2 weeks to get there. But in the meantime, I had no access to money. Thankfully, my 17-year-old son had a bank card, and we were able to get his bank card to be online use over the phone, and then I could send him money and we could use his card. So now that he's not living at home anymore, I had to solve that by getting another bank account. And I also have a credit card. It doesn't have a huge limit on it. It's like $300, but it's enough to get groceries and things like that. So generally I use this for groceries, the main groceries, like not going into like a lot of the little tiny stores. In some of the Latin American countries, you can't use a credit card. You can only use cash. So I tend to use this for like big supermarkets and things like that, and just for that kind of thing. And then, but so generally this card is in one of these with cash for the week. And then these cards are locked up in my lockbox with our passports and everything like that. And they don't even come out. I just carry one of these with me while I'm out and about. So that's one thing. Another thing to keep in mind is you should probably take a copy of these, like all of your cards, and either email them to yourself or leave them with a family member that you trust. I have copies of bank cards, and PIN numbers and all of that. I have copies of all, like original copies of all of our birth certificates. I have color copies of our passports. I have like everything with a friend at home. The other thing is like make a budget. Just kind of write out what you need and all of that kind of stuff. So like, for example, we were in the Dominican Republic last, and so I made out, I never put food onto our, like groceries, onto our budget because I used the credit card. So I put credit card payment, and then that was it. But so like the rent, power if you pay it, internet, I usually get an internet box for the house for me for working, and then sometimes I get two depending on the cost, because I need one dedicated for me for working, and then the kids have a separate one so it doesn't slow down mine, and usually it's not that expensive. And then I have an amount for like cell phone data and stuff like that, and it's usually pretty cheap. But budget high. Like if you've never been to the place before and you don't really know, what you're doing, then budget a little bit high, like, but yeah, so have a budget and just kind of figure out what you can pay online and what you can pay in cash, and then take out that much cash plus a little bit more and divide it into weeks, and then I just use these, and as I use them up, I just put it into back into the lockbox. And I really like having the lockbox because depending on where you're staying, some places are more secure than others, but I like having the lockbox. I know everything's safe and I can kind of hide it, usually when we get somewhere, we unpack and put stuff away and things like that. And then I'll put the suitcases like in the bottom of a closet or something, and I'll hide the lockbox in the suitcase, and I'll lock the suitcase as well. And I've never had a problem with the lockbox going missing or anything in the lockbox going missing. So that's good. Before we got the lockbox, I was just putting things into a suitcase, and I had a passport go missing, I had money go missing, I had, but since I've had the lockbox and been locking the suitcase, it's just kind of been fine. And when I'm going into the lockbox or anything like that, I make sure that like no one's around, no one's over. Like, if I've got friends over, I'm not going to go into my room and get the lockbox and bring it out, and I don't flash that kind of stuff. Another thing is to check how much your transaction fees are going to be for your card, because for my bank it works out to like almost $9 a transaction every time I use it when I'm outside of the country. So what happens is I can, in the Dominican Republic, I could only take out, I think it was like $210 per time, and I could only do twice per day, which is like $420, but that wasn't enough for what I needed for the month. I needed about $800, and so that's an extra $20. Sometimes more, depending on what I needed to pay. Like when I bought my scooter, I needed $1,000, so it was even more. So what I do is I go on like Remitly or Western Union, and it's like $15 to send myself money through Western Union, which is way cheaper than the fees, and I get all the money at once, so I don't have to keep going to the bank machine, going to the bank machine, going to the bank machine. And so that works really well for me. And Remitly was, I think it was $10 for like up to $1,000. It goes more over that, but it worked really well. So make sure you know what your fees are on your account and keep track of that. So yeah, that's kind of managing money while you're traveling. Just kind of figure out a system that works for you. This little change purse system works for me. It might not work for you. But one thing I will suggest is do not, when you go out, do not take your whole purse with every card you own, all your credit cards, all your bank cards, all your money, because if this goes missing, like if somebody takes this, then you have nothing and you are stuck. So that's why I like to leave this and all my extra cards at home and just take the one card that's got a little bit of money on it for an emergency, and cash, which there's none in here right now, but you know what I'm saying, and just using those when you go out. And this is so much easier to just tuck into a little, I'm a dork and I wear a waist pouch for my phone and this and everything else, but you can tuck it into your purse or whatever. And honestly, if this gets taken, it's got one card with a little bit of money on it that they're probably not going to be able to access, and a little bit of cash for the week. So, I mean, it's a lot better than all your money and all your cards being taken. So kind of, be smart. And I also say, like we've hosted couch surfers a lot while we've been traveling because we stay in one place for a while and then we move on. So one thing that I always tell people is don't take out, like, don't go out with a big wad of money. So normally, even this weekly amount, a lot of times I'll take money out of here if I'm going out for the day, and I'll just have, you know, enough for the day. Like if I know that we're just going into town and we might stop for ice cream, I have enough for ice cream. If I need to, I can take my card, I can go to the bank machine and I can get out a little bit more. But not having wads and wads of money, because people are watching you while you're out. By not pulling out the big wad of money, and you know, then people are less interested. You look like you don't have any money because you can kind of not even show that card, but you look like you don't have a lot of money, and it's better that way. So if you're going out for the day, just take what you think you're going to need for the day. If you need a little bit more, take out a little bit more, but do not go out with big wads of money. So, and it's so easy to just tuck this into a pocket or, you know, into your backpack or whatever, and it's less likely to be taken because it looks like a little kid's change purse. Like, what's my kid going to have in here? 50 cents, you know? And so that's a really good idea. And that's how I manage money while traveling. I hope that's helpful for you.